the developer with a tutorial video on how to use the Imagik engine. So we have our zip file here. You can download this off the website if you haven't already. We can open it up, and inside we can extract all. Let's press extract. And now we have a usable space for all of our files. Now we can run imagik.exe, and you will be met with a nice demo scene for the engine. Here we have the Explorer tab on the top right. We can see we have a brick in the scene, a sphere, and a cylinder. When we click on the brick, we can see down here that its name is brick. It is a child, or it has the parent of workspace. We can see that in the Explorer tree. Its class name is part, and it has a unique identifier of 2, compared to sphere, which has 3, and cylinder, which has 4. Brick is at 0, 0, 0. If we adjust these values, we can see what 0, 0, 0 means. So if we adjust position the third number here, which is called the z value, we can see if we add it to 5, it goes that way. If we adjust it to -5, it goes towards us. If we adjust it to, say, if we adjust the second number, the y value, to 5, we can see that it raises it. If we adjust it to -5, we can see that it lowers it. And the same with the x value. The x value will push it either to the left or to the right. Scale is very similar. When I scale it up, it'll scale left and right. So if I scale it really big, like 80, we can see that it's really far off to the left and really far off to the right. If I scale it to 10 in the y, it becomes a lot taller. And then if we scale it to 20 in the z, it becomes, well, it becomes a lot thicker. If we want to remove a part, we can just right-click on it and press Remove Part. If we want to add a new part to the scene, we can press Add Part. To change a part's color, we can just go down to here with red, green, and blue. So let's turn the blue to 0, the red to 0, and the color to 255. We can also change the rotation with the same x, y, and z. So if we change it on the y value, because we know that y is up and down, we can kind of imagine a rod going through this part, and it'll spin on the y-axis. So if we do 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 60, 90, we can see that it rotates on this axis. Similar for z, because we know that z goes like this, we can expect it to spin either clockwise or counterclockwise from where we're viewing. So if we do 35, we can see that it does in fact spin that way. And if we do the x, because the x is this way, we can imagine it sort of spinning clockwise viewing this. Since the sphere is in the way, we'll just remove it from the scene and the cylinder. Now we can do 15, 30, 60, 90, and so on. But what happens if I want a sphere or a cylinder? Well, here we have part type. It is as simple as clicking on the part type and changing it from this combo box. Press a brick for a brick, sphere for a arguably sphere-shaped. You'll have to make this equal to get a nice ball. So the scale equals, so 444 is an equal size, so it's not malformed. And then if we want it to be a cylinder, then we can name it as a cylinder. And since this is no longer a brick, this is a cylinder, we can rename this to cylinder. Now let's create, oh, we have to press enter. Do keep in mind that the name will not change until you press enter. So if we have it SCYL, right, and I just leave it alone, I change parts, it doesn't end up changing the name. So make sure to press enter when you want to change the name. Now let's add another part here. We can see that it always spawns at 0, 0, so it's inside this part. Let's move it to the left. That's going to be either negative or positive 5. Because obviously, as we rotate about the scene, it's going to change, you know. If we change this to 90, we change the Z orientation to 90, for example. We can see that when I do 10, it's still going to go this way, which, yeah, that actually makes sense. But the main point is that things change as you scale them. For example, the scale will be different. See, previously that would have expanded it that way to the right and to the left, but since we rotated the brick, now it's this way, which is traditionally the Z direction. So let's remove that. No, let's actually keep that. We're going to color this magenta. 255 in the blue, 0 in the green, 255 in the red. And we'll make this a long cylinder. Let's make this a bit more equal. Nice. Now we have 2 cylinders. Let's change this cylinder to a sphere. And let's make it bigger. 8, 8, 8. Now let's rename these to more accurately represent what they are. And let's add one more part. Now we have a brick. It's inside the sphere, so let's move it to the right. Negative 5. That's a little too into it, so we'll just put that there. And then we'll make this a nice 4x4x4 cube. Let's give it a little bit of rotation, just to make things interesting. And we'll just leave our scene here. Now we have a nice scene that we've just built. With these fundamentals, you can build a couple things. But first, let's save our scene. We can go up here, press save. Then we can save it as whatever we need. So, my build.imagik. And then we can also open a scene. So if I open this, it just opens to the same thing. If I press new here, I clear out the scene with a fresh slate. And then I can open my build and work on it again. Save and save as currently are not different at all. These do the same thing. Here we have the Munchkin the Pumpkin build. This is a default build that comes with it. If you want to modify this or improve it, you can. Feel free to adjust how big the pumpkin is, where it's placed, what colors it's made of. Feel free to save it as your own. And that is the basics of using this editor. With this, you can do a lot of things, and I am looking forward to seeing your builds. So, see ya.